Okay. Oh my God. How excited are you guys? I am so excited. So are you ready to get started? Because I know I am. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Baby Coach to Badass Masterclass. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey with me. And if you've been in my world for a hot minute, like you have, Pam, you know how fun those can be, right? So I am Cassie McKenzie, and today I'm going to show you how to sell out your coaching offers so that you can leave your 9 to 5 and be hanging out on the beach down in Costa Rica with Julie. And you can do this without any sales experience or looking salesy. So for a lot of you guys, I'm guessing this is not your first masterclass. And so the first thing I want to mention is that, if you have failed at sales in the past, don't even worry. Let's throw that out the back door, because there's a lot of information out there and it can be super confusing. There's a lot of really shitty sales advice out there too. And a lot of times people don't even know what they're talking about. And so also, some of this information overload can keep you from the success that you actually want. And that's okay. Just like anything else, that's okay. So if you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed without having sales experience, or it's just not going to work out for you, then I want you to take those fears and really throw them out the window, because today I'm going to show you why you don't even need any sales experience. You don't need to be a natural born salesperson in order to make a shit ton of sales and sell out your offers. Okay. You can do this, because if I can go from being 21 years old with braces and a bad haircut, and if you haven't seen the pictures, just go to my Instagram at Cassie McKenzie and take a look at that, because it's hilarious. And then become a top 10 rep within the next 2 years with no background in sales except for waitressing at a place called DeFazio's during my summer vacation, then, you can do it too. In my opinion, from what I've seen, women are way better at selling than men. And it's just that most of us aren't taught to speak up, or, we're not really taught how to verbalize things and to ask for what we want. And then we end up feeling weird when we do it. So I really want you to wake up to the fact that you're already an amazing salesperson and you already have everything you need inside of you. Just being a woman is such a huge advantage, because we're so used to that feminine side of sales. And I know, Julie, you know this too. So drop me a yes in the chat if you're getting this, because the truth is, you just need the right person to explain it to you. And so I'm here, I'm just a normal mom in Florida, hanging out with my kids, about to celebrate a birthday. Someone's turning 7 on Saturday, celebrating the holidays. And I'm going to explain it to you how to sell. So there are so many people on the internet that really want you to think that you need a lot of followers, a lot of likes, maybe Facebook ads, that the algorithm's broken and you need a ton of offers, and you have to really aggressively sell, which I'm really horrible at, in order to make sales. And you might need to be cold DMing 50 people a day and posting on TikTok 10 times a day, as if we actually have time to do that in order to get clients. And I'm here to tell you, that's absolutely wrong. Obviously, different people have different reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's really not true. And if you've ever thought that these people might just want you to buy their program so that you learn how to post on TikTok 10 times a day, you're probably right, because the coaching world seriously doesn't benefit from people actually knowing how to sell well. Because if you knew how to sell well, you probably wouldn't you wouldn't need to buy another sales program, right? And so if you confidently know how to show up and sell, then you can't buy the Band-Aid solution, right? And so what I'm going to teach you here tonight are things that nobody else can take away from you. So if this is making sense, put a yes in the chat. Let me know, because this is the difference with my programs. I seriously care about your success beyond working with me and beyond just being in my world. I really want you to be successful after we're done working together long term. I want to be able to give you the tools that you need to really create this long-term success and a really great relationship with sales, so that you love sales and that it's not even a thing anymore. It's just something that you naturally do. Okay. And so I really care about your success. I truly want to see you living the life of your dreams. Because, you have a dream, I have a dream, we all have dreams if we're here right now, right? Some people don't have dreams, but I know we all do here, right? And so you might want to quit your 9 to 5. You might want to submit that very last PTO request. Some of us want to be our own boss. Some of us want to travel the world and have clients, and others just would feel comfortable being able to go get coffee at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning and then go talk to clients on Voxer while you're shopping at the mall, right? So most of all, though, you want to do it in a way that feels aligned and doesn't feel salesy or pushy or weird or complicated. And put a yes in the chat if you are really committed to doing sales. And I say doing sales in a way that's like really aligned with you and feels aligned with you, because honestly, what could be more valuable than helping you sell your service? All right. So my goal for you today is that you know exactly what you need to do to sell your offers so that you can wake up living by the beach or making bank and being your own boss. All right. So tell me which one of these excites you more. Put it in the chat. Which one excites you more? Like living at the beach, which Julie, I know you already do, kind of like me, right? And or like making a ton of money, making a lot of sales, being your own boss, like having that freedom. What exactly is it that makes you super excited? Drop it in the chat. Living at the beach. Pam, yes, I can definitely see you with your flip-flops on, hanging out at the beach, right? Totally. Okay. So I want to tell you about my friend Karen, though. Karen actually started her business in September, and I helped her set up her business in a way that felt in alignment with her. And she ended up signing 5 new clients at over $3,900 per client. Some were even more than that. And in that amount of time, she made over $26,000 in sales. Okay. So what I really believe is that, she's not a natural born salesperson at all. She's very much introverted, right? And so I just want to remind you, that's what we're here for. Waking up to your magic as a natural born salesperson, knowing that you have a dream to change the world and make an impact. And I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. Okay. And so, but let me tell you, I told you I'm going to take you on a journey, and you might not know, but when I first started in sales, I was 21 years old. I was fresh out of college. I literally graduated from college on Friday and started my job on Monday. And I had just been hired by Johnson & Johnson into one of their specialty sales divisions. And I really did not ever consider myself a natural born salesperson at all. Both of my parents are teachers, and I can see the parallel between teaching and selling, because that's a lot of what your job is to teach, right? But I didn't know anything about sales. I loved biology, but I always thought salespeople were like that sham wow guy that was on infomercials. And at J&J, they immediately threw us into sales training, into this 3-month period where I literally lived half of the time in New Jersey, attending classes and learning about my product. On the weekends, we'd go to Manhattan for a hot minute and then have to come right back. But for the most part, it was all work from 7 to 5 o'clock at night. And then we'd practice and study for the next day. And so I was learning all about my product and sales, and then studying and role playing at night. And it was during this time that I learned how to sell more like a consultant and not like a typical traditional salesperson. And I'm so thankful for that, because I probably interviewed for 30 jobs, and I could have easily ended up in one of those that was more of what you saw on that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, And so can you imagine if that happened to you, if you thrown into New Jersey with 21 years old? My manager made fun of me because I brought a Hello Kitty mirror that my mom had given me. I mean, I was freaking 21 years old. I had just gotten to drink alcohol, right? And so my manager made fun of me. She actually talked to one of my cousins about me, and I heard about this. And then, so I was really the odds were against me. Okay. But when I learned about how to sell like a consultant, it all started to make sense. Like I had the biology part down. It was just the sales skills. And really it was all about building long-term customer relationships versus having like that quick sale, having like a Me Too product. And drop me a yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, like more of like a commodity sell versus like an actual building a relationship and having customer loyalty and having that being like the forefront, like drop me a yes if you can think of a salesperson who's impacted you like that, who's been like one of your favorite ones you know, that's always saying and doing the right thing and making you feel like they're helping you. All right. So back then I focused on really asking really great questions to uncover the real needs of my clients so that I could, no pun intended, but like prescribe the right solution for them. And there were a lot of times where I still felt uncomfortable though, like closing and asking for the business, even in my fake role plays with, the fake district manager that I was practicing with. And so once I was home, I asked my manager for a few days out of the field to get mentored by some of the top reps, because in the coaching world, we call this more of like a VIP day, I guess. And so, but back then it was just like a field ride because we were out in the sales field sales or whatever with the other reps. So what I learned though was I really started to pay attention to how they handled customer conversations, how they closed, how they handled objections and sales calls. And it was invaluable to me because every single person was different. Everybody had their own selling style. Some were more aggressive and like not my style at all, but others were really laid back and they got the job done without having to be like in your face. So it really didn't feel like sales at all. And I was like, maybe I can do this after all, like I don't want to run out here and look like an asshole, like selling down people's throats all day long, but like I can do that kind of thing. If it works for her and she's like one of the top 10 reps, then it can work for me too. So drop me a yes if this is making sense, because I thought that salespeople were supposed to be like slick and pushy and aggressive, like those people on the infomercials, right? So when I spent this time shadowing all these successful reps, I noticed how they close and the verbiage they used, like their way of speaking and interacting and how they moved around the office and really made a difference instead of like getting kicked out. Because then I saw other reps getting kicked out and I'm like, oh, damn, I'm glad that's not us, right? And so I adopted what I liked and I left the rest, because what I learned was this. Like sales really starts with relationships and with building that foundation for loyal customers to come and sign on with you over and over and over again, whether you're selling a physical product or you have a service. And so that's how I created my own way of selling that now I teach my clients and I teach you to do, because it wipes away any of that weirdness or pushiness and it always puts the customer first. And when you do that, you end up having super happy customers that keep coming back for more. And I'm not talking about things that like, make you work tons and tons and tons of extra hours trying to people please. I'm saying like you can anticipate needs for people and it actually saves you time in the long run. Okay. So it just becomes so natural and normal. All right. And this, when I put all of that all together and made my own selling style, I also created this strategy for how to prioritize customer. And I ended up in the 2 years that followed, like not only did I hit 22 million in sales and win President's Cup, when previously, like this was a really shitty territory that I took over. And I think previously it was like last in the nation. Okay. So I retained 98% market share. Amgen had just launched a brand new product. And the other rep in my territory who was my competitor was like this good old boy who like knew all the accounts already. And I was like, oh man, I'm totally fucked against this guy. I got to get my shit together. But like once I did, and I used my selling, like my style of selling and what I teach my clients, like not only did I make the 22 million in sales in 2 years and like totally end up training all the people who underestimated me, but I retained 98% market share for 4 straight years after that. So I did that through my loyalty-based selling framework. And to me, it's so perfect for online sales because I know you don't want to have a million steps to your sales process. you don't want it to feel like icky or salesy or hard. And that's why I'm so passionate about bringing it to coaches like you that have big dreams, who really just need to know what to say and how to say it and how to show up confidently in your own way and sell it like you've been doing it your whole life. Okay. So that's why I brought up Karen, because when Karen started her business in September and she signed 5 new clients at over 3,900 per client and then made over 26,000 in sales, like, if she can do it, then you can do it too, right? So drop me committed in the chat if you want to be like Karen, okay? This isn't like a Karen, like the kind at Target and at the restaurants that complain all the time. She's very, very sweet. Yes, I got it, committed. So today I'm going to show you 3 secrets for really how to become that badass online with sold out coaching programs, okay? So secret number 1 is how to feel confident when you sell online, even if you're not a natural born salesperson. Like I mentioned earlier, I started out my sales career in 2000 at the age of 21 with braces and a bad haircut. Okay, I wish I had the picture right here, but it's pretty fabulous. I majored in business at Virginia Tech, but I wasn't a salesperson, and I hated being the one that was like, that had to present in front of a classroom. Like, I would start to panic for all of our marketing presentations, and like totally my heart would beat out of my chest. I would start to get like, just like kind of black out and forget what I said. My voice would get so nervous. It would like shake, and I'd just like, I still get this way sometimes, like I did the other day, and I have 20 years experience. So it's totally normal, but like I had such huge anxiety about having everybody's eyes on me, especially in a crowd that was bigger than like 3 people. So, and then I remember later on being so afraid to sell on sales calls because I had to sell and I had to talk in front of groups of people there. So drop me a yes if this has happened to you too. It's like you don't consider yourself to be a natural born salesperson either, and you've kind of panicked when you've gotten in front of a group, because it's a real thing. Like here I was, like I was really, really great in my sales calls at building relationships and talking about the weather and what their kids were doing and what the weekend, like what I was doing, or whatever new show, like Netflix wasn't on. It was like Desperate Housewives was popular back then. So all the ladies in Alabama wanted to talk about Alabama football and Desperate Housewives. But I would just sit there on my sales call, like awkwardly talking about everything but my product, and then squeeze it in at the very end as everybody was like getting up and throwing their lunch plates away all awkwardly and being like, don't forget about blah, 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 right? Or like not even bring it up at all. They just get up and kind of look at me like, are you going to say something? Because I know you're supposed to be here doing an in-service, right? But I was so afraid of offending people by, that we're on the other side of the table, by actually bringing up my product and selling it, as if nobody knew why we were there together to begin with, right? So that is seriously a different story than closing 22 million in sales 2 years later, because here's what got me there. One day I was watching football, not much else to do in Alabama, right? And I'm sorry if you're from Alabama, but it's kind of true. I was watching it on a Sunday, and I was watching the Falcons, and I found myself singing along to this beer commercial. And then I started to realize I don't get annoyed when companies like Coca-Cola or McDonald's have commercials and they tell you about their products, right? Because it'd be weird as hell if they didn't, right? They're like, look at this fabulous soda I'm drinking. And then 30 seconds goes by and you're like, I don't even know what brand it was. Like, that would be pathetic, right? You drop me a yes if you're getting this, because I realized like I actually looked way weirder and out of place by not talking about my product on sales calls, because people were expecting it, right? If you've got a product or a service, they're expecting you to sell. And I just had to find my own way that felt comfortable to me. So once I did, this is what I taught all of my hundreds of sales trainees in the years that followed. And I started with a pre-call ritual, and I pictured the imaginary person in my head that really needed my product, right? That person who really was that end user and what they were going through. And I started to remember how they got on their knees and they prayed every single day for that their situation would get better and that they'd feel more alive again, because my product helped cancer patients and it helped them get more energy. And in like the last, obviously some cancer patients are further along than others. And so for the ones that maybe this was going to be their last Christmas, they wanted to have the energy to feel like they could go and see their grandkids again, right? So I reminded myself that I had to do my job and paint this picture for the doctors, because they're kind of desensitized to it. You know, they forget about these things. They're so busy. And so it was my job to paint this picture for them so that the patient would get relief. And in order for that patient to feel alive again, you know, so that they could live their life, right? And so the other thing that I did was I forced myself to add one more sales activity a day. After I'd already planned to go home, I'd make one more sales call. Or after I wanted to shut my computer, I'd send one more email or make one more phone call or plan one more lunch, right? And so I wanted even more and more practice and more impact on my territory. And back in those pharma sales days, there was tons of reps. There was lots of competition. Like if you say there's lots of coaches online, like the equivalent in that, and when I was first learning how to sell, was like all the competition as far as like just the number of reps calling on offices. It was crazy back then. So nowadays online, there's so much noise on the internet. Every single sales action that you do and sales call that you make and mention of your product or your webinar or your podcast, that's all going to add up. So from that day forward, I always do that just one more sales action. And then I actually feel like doing, because some days, you know, that could have been picking up coffee for an office. Other times it was dropping off patient education materials or savings cards. But I still do this today. So every time that I commit to this just one more attitude, the results come in consistently and come in consistently, not inconsistently, but they start coming in more consistently when you start doing one more thing. Okay. And so what that ended up creating for me was more signups in my offers. I won MVP awards. I became a sales trainer. I trained over 1,000 reps. But nowadays it means more signups into my offers, more book sales, more podcast downloads, and more engagement and followers for my content. So remember, like, I wasn't a natural born salesperson. I learned and I practiced to perfect that art in a fun way. But that's how easy it can be, even if you're not a natural born salesperson either. Okay. Drop me a yes if this is making sense, because I want you to know that like this is possible for anybody. And my client, Victoria, when I taught her how to do this, she signed 4 new clients in 2 weeks after previously giving all of her coaching away for free. Okay. So that's how powerful this is. Okay. Secret number 2. This is how you can nearly like 100% guarantee that you're going to sell out your coaching offers, even if you feel like a little baby coach right now. Okay. So 3 years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and he said something that really stuck with me. It was around how success leaves clues. And he said, I can learn from these decades of life experience. I can save it. I can bring the answer here to myself and to others and see an impact, because you can literally compress these decades into days by having a mentor. Okay. And when I first started out in sales, I was trained by the best of the best. Okay. Award winners from all over the nation, the best in the field, some of the best sales trainers from outside that had their own sales training companies and coaches. And like most of these people had been doing it for decades. But when I first started, I sucked. Like I told you, I was so nervous. I jumbled up my messaging. But with their help and their experience during those initial months of training and beyond into like the following year, my mentors were able to simplify the things that I was overcomplicating. Okay. So they were always able to give me an easier example of how they'd say the same thing. Or like to me, it seemed like freaking pure fucking magic, right? But to them, it was just their wisdom from their experience, right? Like they'd been there, they'd done it, and they were able to show me really easily how to overcome something that might have taken kind of forever for them. All right. So I'm really grateful that I had that ongoing mentorship from the beginning, because it kept me from like, it really kept me getting better and better. And it held me accountable to follow through. But also after following all these successful reps and modeling what worked for them that I personally liked, I achieved in 2 years what most people take decades to accomplish, if ever. Okay. But when I came into the online space, I realized I needed some big help because I had no idea how to sell online. Like I felt like it was impossible for me to figure it all out on my own from free YouTube videos. So I sought out a mentor who was skilled at selling all kinds of offers on social media and who had a similar kind of selling style as me. So I know I've said before, I'm a big believer in this loyalty-based selling. So, and it was also super weird for me to spend money on my own mentorship because for the last 20 years, my companies had been paying it for me. Like that was a big kind of shift. It was kind of like your parents stopped giving you money for lunch and you're like, but I got to buy my own lunch. Like, how am I know I need to, but I don't want to. How do I know it's going to be good? It tasted better when you paid for it, right? But, I knew I was already skilled, but I just needed someone to help with the social media and not just for like a short time, but for the long haul so that I could be successful. And so really to become confident, you need attention from a mentor to practice and to succeed. Like I needed those role plays early on to get better with my messaging and to get more comfortable verbalizing. Like I started to be able to sell my product in my sleep. And even to today, I can recite my old messaging about Procrit like right now. If you sat here with me and you wanted me to do a role play and sell you my product, I totally could. Like it's that down. And I know you know what I mean. When you know your shit, you know your shit. And so I love helping my clients do the same thing because there's nothing more beautiful than seeing a woman online knowing how to sell and knowing how to close sales. Like that's just amazing to me. So you need attention from a mentor. Like I needed an attention from a mentor to practice and to succeed. And so when I work with my clients and make these simple adjustments, that leads them to making sales right away. Like Victoria went from 0 sales in 12 months to 3 sales in 2 days, and then 4 sales in like 4 days. Okay. But one thing I've noticed that's missing in programs with the accountability built in for like creating that messaging is the role plays, okay, and the practice. I know there's a couple out there that do it, but that's why like in my Sales Queen Academy, I've added bi-weekly calls for us to do Q&As and to practice the sales skills so that when you go to sell online, that's not the first time you've talked about your product and you're able to refine your messaging and know exactly what to say and how to say it so that you look natural doing it and it feels good to you, okay? Because then you take what you learn and you apply that framework, and that's when you have virtually 100% success rate with selling out any offer in your offer suite. It just makes it easy, whether it's a $19 offer or $1,000 offer. It's if you know what you're doing and you feel confident doing it, you can sell out anything that you want. So secret number 3, how to get the exact same customers that are currently going to other coaches online and get them to become loyal clients coming into your programs instead. Okay. Now, when I first started online and I was in my 9 to 5, I was following a lot of shitty sales advice, like don't give away too much in your content. So I got all up in my head and I'm like, well, what if I give away too much? So then I gave away nothing. I was doing 10 random like motivational posts a week, and like nobody's going to hire somebody who inspires them. They're going to say, hey, you inspire me, and then move on to somebody who's like, I want your life, right? I didn't realize it was setting me up for like short-term gains instead of this long-term strategy. But I thought back to what made me successful, 20 years ago, that connection and the value. And so I started going back to the basics, that loyalty-based sales. And the exact things that turned me from baby rep to badass sales trainer were the same things that turned me from like baby coach to a badass coach online, right? Selling offers and having really a fun time doing it, right? So I created this high value content. I started looking at my IG feed as like this magical, valuable library of business that's here to stay and serve. And like, it's a place for you to come and hang out and really get a lot of value in there. Okay. And then I committed also to nurturing the committed followers who are engaging with me, just like I would with nurses or receptionists in the offices that I called on, and hosting masterclasses like this to help you learn how to be better coaches, and hosting events. Like, drop me a yes if you have come to any of the events that I have in the Topless Manifestor group, or listen to the Topless Manifestor podcast. Like, there's a lot of free value there. And so I started to sell every single day too. So I realized that to have the business of my dreams and make 6 and 7 figures one day, I couldn't show up. Like, just because I wasn't in a 9 to 5 doesn't mean that I needed to do the bare minimum and get away with it and expect my business to follow, right? I had to show up as the business owner who'd already built that. Okay. I had to show up and sell unapologetically. And I decided that I loved it even when it felt weird, or I saw my mom on my live stream, or my best friend was like one of the only people looking at my Instagram stories like all the time. I just kept going, right? Like, it was all okay. And I became as dedicated to as the future me would have been once I had the multiple 6-figure business, right? So, and the result here, this was the big thing I didn't expect. The confidence and the commitment, even in the face of the results not showing up right away, having that enthusiasm for my business instead of it waning because I wasn't seeing the results. Like, in the past, if I had put that much effort into things, I would have quit so easily. But because I was committed to bringing that value and that loyalty-based sales process into my business, it changed everything, okay? And like, in the times where I normally would have given up because the results didn't show up, and drop me a yes in the comments if you have done this or felt tempted to do this. Like, just stop showing up because it doesn't seem like it's working yet, right? Or stop doing the work because you're not seeing the results yet. Like, I found myself getting even more passionate about making those micro shifts and ramping up the belief. And this, to me, is a huge part of the transformation, because the rest of the results with the engagement and reach and multiple daily sales happening, they ended up being the cherry on top, okay? Because when I decided that I wanted fresh faces in my audience, and I decided to host guests on IG Live and be a guest on summits and podcasts, the results were an increase from about 3,000 people interacting with my Instagram to over 25,000 accounts reached just in the last 30 days as of today. Okay. And so I also still have many, many clients in my world who started following me back like 3-4 years ago when I was a baby coach first starting out. Okay. So drop me a yes in the chat if you want to have results like that, right? If you want that sort of engagement on social media and those sorts of loyal clients that are always there for you. Okay. Drop me a yes, and then I'll move on. Okay. Yay. Yes, of course. I got it. Woohoo. Love it. All right. Let's do it. Wait, where'd my notes go? Okay. So let me ask you a question. How excited are you about what we just talked about, right? Like, if you followed what I showed you in Secret 1 and you felt confident when you sell online, even if you're not a natural born salesperson, and then you did what I showed you in Secret 2 and started selling out your coaching programs, even if you feel like a baby coach right now, and then you use Secret 3 to get the exact same customers that are currently going to other coaches and get them to start coming to your programs instead, do you think you could be successful if you were able to pull that off and do all of that? Okay. Let me know in the chat. I'm really, really curious. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I love the enthusiasm. Okay. Okay. Because, like, obviously it's impossible to show you everything you need to get results in like a 30-minute live stream, right? But I tried to cover as much as possible, simplify it as much as possible too. Okay. So I've created something super special and juicy for those of you guys who are ready to move forward and want to implement this baby coach to badass sales technique with more loyalty-based sales. So is it okay with you if I spend about 5 minutes going over a very special offer I created to help you implement this in your business? Okay. Drop me a yes if that's cool with you, or if you say yes, okay, cool. Yay! All right. Okay. So, all right. So this is seriously going to change your life. I'm going to go ahead and see. I'm so happy I didn't do the slides because I like slides for teaching, but I don't love slides for like talking. Does that make sense? So you got to do you, boo, right? But for what I'm about to show you, I really did want to share some things so that you can see the, oh, Christ almighty, what in the world? How come this isn't showing? Oh, well, maybe I won't be able to show it to you anyway, because my computer, it has some weird settings. It's new. So I'm, where did it go? It's not that one. It's not that one. Desktop. No, they've got all these like weird kind of, I don't know. There's like warnings and shit. So I'm not going to do that. Hey, real time here. Okay, let me go through and I'll just pull. Do you like, Pam, you've been here for a long ass time. You know how transparent I am. I'm like, well, that's weird. So guess we're not going to do that. She's like, yeah, this is not new to me, Cassie. I got it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you really quick. Let's see. Okay, here's who this program is for. So the Sales Queen Academy is brand new, and I am really excited about this because this is going to help you be confident selling online and be able to sell out your offers online so you can finally leave your 9-to-5 and also do it your own way in which you build this loyal following instead of just a bunch of people who pay you and love them and leave them, okay? Because that is not the vibe. That's not the vibe at all here in the Cassie McKenzie world. So I just want to go back and make you realize who this was for. So this is for people who are just starting out, who are like baby coaches juggling the 9-to-5 and who want to be your own boss. Or maybe you're an established coach and you just want to learn how to make sales more consistently. And you could possibly have, or you possibly have like a big customer burn rate, right? So like a lot of people coming in, but then a lot of people leaving every month too. And it starts to get heavy once that happens a lot, you know, and clients don't seem to re-sign with you and you just really want to create a more loyal customer base. Here's what we're going to cover. So we're going to talk about the Sales Queen in week 1, the Sales Queen mindset for coaches, and set the stage for really shifting you out of that I work at my 9-to-5 and I have this baby, you know, like this little side hustle, to I am a, you know, like a badass coach online, and my work is my venture capitalist that starts to, you know, fund my dream business, right? And I do some work for them, but really this is where my attention is, okay? All right, and then week 2, we're going to go over creating offers that sell with magnetic messaging, and you're also going to learn how to pre-sell and pre-sell your offer. In week 3, we go over Sales 101, that loyalty-based sales, how you can implement it right away in sales conversations and in sales calls, and how you can use sales calls to not just sell, but walk away with really amazing information. If you, there's like a lot of great tools for you to, you know, sell even more programs down the road. In week 4, we're going to dive into selling on social media, including selling on your Insta stories, posting content that actually brings in sales into your business. In week 5, you're going to start selling in the DMs. Week 6, we look at selling on live video. And then in week 7, we're going over selling behind the scenes and then wrapping it all together with the masterclass sales strategy in the week 8. Okay. So here's what you're going to get. You are going to get 8 weeks of live sales trainings. And normally I would value this at $8,000. Then you're also going to get bi-weekly sales trainings as well, Q&A and practice sessions, okay? It's a tool to help you get more confident with sales messaging and make your sales pitches online way more powerful. The value for this is $4,000. As part of this package, you're also going to get the sales scripts for calls, DMs, and social media so that you'll know exactly what questions to ask and how to take your leads from like cold leads to sold and in the sales calls, in the DMs, and online. And then also as part of this package, you're going to get my just one more sales actions cheat sheet so that you don't have to go and try to reinvent the wheel and figure out what kind of actions to take in your business. So that if you decide you want to take 5 to 10 sales actions a day, you got a whole list right there to get you started. Now, as part of this, you're also getting my live selling hacks and some templates for organizing your Instagram lives and other live videos so that you can really show up with the most potent message and stop rambling and getting nervous and like getting in your head. And finally, I'm giving you my bees to honey lead generation secrets. And this is a tool that helps you with organic visibility boosting, attracting new aligned followers and clients into your world. And this is like one of the techniques out of the 3 that I teach you here is what got my Instagram account to over 25,000 new faces on my content in the last 30 days alone. So when I was first figuring all this stuff out, I ran into a huge roadblock. I did not know how to grow my audience without paying somebody else to do it for me or spending all day doing it. So that's how I had to create this process for myself, because way back then, I had to spend all day with trial and error and figure out like an efficient way to attract leads and sell on social media because I'm busy. Like when I first started my business, I had a 9 to 5, and then I was raising one child and then raising 2 children, right? And so I don't want you to have to recreate that either. I've already had proven results for the last 22 years. And so I'm just going to give it to you so that you can run with it. And you're going to save so much time and money because you'll already know what works. And because I'm giving you my process that takes me less than a couple of hours a day to attract new leads to me. Like at the most, I spend an hour and a half total on my content and posting things, right? So if you had a successful coaching business that was making money and had sold out coaching offers, what would that be worth to you? Because this whole package, the value of it is over $14,000 when you add everything all together, which you would see if my slides were working, but I don't want my computer to collapse in the middle of a live stream. So we're not even going to go there. But, you know, other people pay for a similar result with me because it's not a cost, it's an investment, right? So the investment, sorry, I'm just like trying to see if the goddamn thing will work and it's not, but hey, we roll with it, right? So right now, normally the public would pay what I charge the public at, it's $1,497. Even that's a great deal, okay? But because you're on this masterclass, yay, you're one of the special ones, I'm gonna give you a very special offer that's good only through Saturday, okay? This Sales Queen Academy is only $997 through Saturday, or 2 payments of $555. And when you enroll by Saturday, you are going to get bonus access into the Make Sales membership when you enroll. If you're already a member, you'll get to extend your membership. This is going to be 6 months access. And you're going to get an exclusive group call where we're going to map out your offers, your content, and your sales strategy, which is huge. Okay. So I'm going to pop the link to sign up in the group and also right here. You're into the comments here, but drop me a yes if you feel like this is worth $1,400 because, or the $997. Like if you could learn how to make consistent sales on live streams, on you know, your sales calls, just feel normal and natural selling without needing to be a natural born salesperson. All right. I use all of the same things that I'm telling you that you would get with this program. And it's knowing sales is everything in business. It really is. Because a lot of it is having that belief and having that confidence to really show up that you know what you're talking about. Because if you don't have to worry about how you're going to sell something, then all you need to focus is on teaching the people that are meant to be working with you. So Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful for you. Yay. I'm so grateful for you guys for being here. And the replay will be available as well in the Facebook group. So if you want to watch that, go right ahead. If you have any questions about the Sales Queen Academy, let me know. But again, this is fully live program. So we'll have live coaching calls every week, plus bi-weekly Q&A and sales practice calls, which honestly are like, they're the best thing for you and your business, right? I love it. Julie knows, right? Okay, thank you guys so much. And I will be seeing you around. Bye.